All right. What's up, everyone? It's Gabby Trades, and welcome back to the channel. Well, we're looking for Bitcoin to surprise us this week, and we have a couple of signals that are left behind for us to find what is the directional bias for at least today or the next couple of days. But you guys, before we jump in, please make sure you like the video. I know you did it with the previous one, but please do it again, and make sure to subscribe if you're new here, and hit the bell notification so you always get notified when I'm live here with you. Now, we were talking about yesterday's opening gap, right? Yesterday's opening gap, which pretty much came due to the EU-US trade deal announcement. Now, we had the live stream yesterday, and we said that we're looking for that gap to be filled on the same day yesterday, which is pretty much what happened. We filled the gap, and then we immediately reversed price. Now, not only that, but also yesterday, we predicted the sell-off on gold. So you guys, make sure you like the video to show support, and make sure you don't miss the live streams, because they really can help you over there in your trading experience, right? And in your trading overall. Now, of course, we have super heavy jobs week ahead. And like we said, we start with the JOLTS jobs opening, which is going to measure how many jobs openings are out there in the US. Now, if we get a lower number, that would suggest that we're getting weak in terms of the labor demand in the US. Now, another thing that I heard is that there was talks about truce between US and China in regards to the tariffs. Now, that is going to be fine. It seems like Trump is trying to build up momentum with the EU trade headlines, and now this may be more potentially even on the way. He could be trying to reduce global tensions, but again, let's not forget what we have on the 31st of this month. He might be completely nulled with all these trade deals, because there are forces that are more important than him that could shut him down on the 31st. We discussed that yesterday. So yeah, let's see if that's going to be short term, if we're going to get another push in the markets due to tariffs, because we can see that we've been trading pretty much in a Trump-led market. Now, the only thing that I'm worried about is if these things continue to go on, whether eventually it's going to be buy the rumor and sell the news scenario type of thing. So that's what I want to be watching out for. Hello everyone, thank you so much for jumping back on the stream over here. And of course, now I have to add this as well. Hold on one sec. Since we had a weird start this morning, this is how it's gonna have to be. But yeah, sometimes these things happen, especially with live streams. It's a little bit hard to have everything in perfection before we kick off the live stream. Anyway, you guys, make sure to restart the chat box over here so I can see. All right, it's perfect now, Dottie. Yes, I think I know what the problem is, and I'm going to be following up today in regards to that. But yeah, it's probably the fact that I was streaming on both platforms, which is Twitter and YouTube. And I used to have these problems before, so I kind of am like expert in these ones. Hi, Mohammed. Very good morning to everyone. So happy to see you guys here. Okay, cool. So again, small restart over here on the Bitcoin futures. This was the gap. As we can see, yesterday we filled it, and we pretty much had a perfect reaction from it. This is the kind of thing that we were looking for yesterday. Now, also, I said to you in regards to Bitcoin, what I want to see is where the true week opens, right? I wanted to see the true week open down here, right? I wanted to see it open lower than pretty much the 0.5 over here. That was my main goal for yesterday's trading, and we achieved that. So now that we have that, you guys, again, now that we have that, for me, that's a buy signal, right? So essentially, as soon as price starts trading above that, it's already sort of like a confirmed bias for me. But let's not get ahead of ourselves today. If we get another drop before the true week opening, for me, that will be a massive buy signal, right? For today, if that happens. But regardless, if it doesn't, price should just continue up for at least some liquidity on a 1 hour time frame grab, which we have over here sitting at 120,345. So now this high is officially a high that is a weak high with lots of liquidity. As you can see, we have some double wicks forming up here. double top, whatever. So that will be a good target for price. In fact, yes, I'm very aware that we have double liquidity also. Well, it's not really double liquidity, but we have two liquidities, one to the upside and one to the downside, right? So I can see that very, very clearly. And I'm pretty sure, did we have on a daily or on a 4-hourly? Yes, on the 4-hourly, we also have liquidity to the downside. So we need to be watching very, very carefully how is price going to react once we take this liquidity over here. So that is it at 120,327. Repeating the numbers here for you guys. So yeah, this is basically what I was looking at this week. So now this is going to tell me that we are at least going to be having some sort of a bullish scenario for this week, right? How strong is going to be, I cannot really tell you, because we're also going to close the month, but like it's going to be really, really nice if we at least trade to 121,436, from where I'm going to potentially looking to position for a retrace of some sort, whether it's going to be to the 0.5, I cannot tell you, but I'm for sure planning to position myself here because there's going to be, if we get to that place, there is going to be a lot of liquidations over here, right? A lot of liquidations. So pretty much that's what I'm looking for today for Bitcoin. We're going to take it day by day because we are indeed trading still in a range, and the signals so far have been working. So this is what I'm looking for. Now, Ethereum, again, retraced yesterday back to the buy zone. Very nice reaction from the buy zone over here, extremely visible to me. You know, within that candle that we have here to the upside, which is very, very strong, it seems like we might be developing now some sort of a fair value gap here. It's all going to depend on this candle over here. But if we develop this fair value gap over here, this is going to generate us a nice area of interest, right? A nice area of interest, because essentially this is going to show us that the balance has been restored in price, right? Because we've had a complete cover over here of this fair value gap. So what does that also mean? So when we look at the fair value gaps like that and we see a body close above, we're then for sure looking to take this high, right? We're looking to take the high of the fair value gap formation over here. So the candle that formed the fair value gap high is not safe anymore. So with this price action, whatever Ethereum does right down here, for example, if it retraces, if it plays around and retests the balanced price action, I would be expecting for it to take at the very minimum 3,888.8. So that's for today, right? And again, don't forget that we're trading at 0.786 on a higher time frame, right? On a higher time frame. So we need to be very, very careful how this unfolds over here, because see, this is a weekly candle, right? This is a weekly candle. So currently is forming as a doji candle. Now, when you see a doji candle forming like that after a massive run to the upside, where you have so many imbalances created, if this week's candle close as a doji, to me, this is going to be a signal that price might be reversing next week to some extent, you guys. So I need you to, hi Pac-Man, I need you guys to keep the chat active, and please like the video if you haven't. Subscribe if you're new here to the channel. Let's see if we can work our magic with these things. Maybe not. But yeah, so it's very important to have a look at this candle this week, right? And how is it going to close? Now, is it going to maybe trade a little bit higher, which is going to be deeper into the sell zone that we have over here for Ethereum? So before we beat that sell zone, there is no guarantee that Ethereum is not going to reverse in the space around, I don't know, 4,100, 4,150, even 4,200. Right? This is as far as this goes. But the thing that we need to be closely paying attention, right? together with everything else that we're doing is at this sell zone over here. So basically the sell zone finishes at 4,116. Now this area could be wicked, you guys. All right, so we always pay attention at these areas. So if we get a wick over here and price quickly retraces and has the body close below it, that is going to essentially mean that this sell zone is still valid. So we still might see a sell-off from here, just like we've seen so many times before from the 0.786, right? So many times before. So yeah, I wouldn't be surprised if we even come up and wick that area, because there is just so many liquidations over here that are going to be very, very juicy if that happens. So for me, it is kind of very unlikely for the 0.786. Yes, we got a reaction from it yesterday, which is natural, right? And then we got a reaction from the buy zone, again, natural. Like we said yesterday, for yesterday, we had a sell setup and we had a buy setup at the exact same time, right? So this is what you're looking at right now. You're looking at, since price is so strong over here, how is this candle going to play out, right? Is it going to come up, right, liquidate and close below our area of interest, because this is going to mean that the sell zone is still validated and we could indeed see another sell-off from here. So this is what we really need to be paying you know, extra close attention to. And also, how is the weekly candle going to close over here, right? How is it going to close? Is it going to become like a big dodgy candle, right? Because it's possible that we just shoot up and then come back down and we close as a, you know, as a dodgy candle over here. So when we have a dodgy candle close, if we do, this is going to signal that the next candle printed might be in fact a bearish candle. So this is what we need to be looking out for here for Ethereum. Does that make sense? Hello, Joe. You're explaining deep price action info. Yes, I'm trying to give you guys, you know, a lot of stuff because you're watching me every day. So I'm pretty sure you're picking up on a lot of the things that, you know, that I'm trying to say here for you, right? This is all for your benefit. All right, cool. Let's have a look at Solana real quick over here. This is the weekly. Let's have a look on the daily. Well, Solana, same thing, right? So there is no, you see, there is no coincidence when we mark the two buy zones, right? Like a lot of people, first of all, with Solana, this was the area of resistance which we resisted from. Then we had to identify all the buy potential scenarios. First one was over here. That was our first buy zone. Second buy zone was over here. So with the drop, we had the first buy zone respected because we had a body close in it, straight in it, right over here. And then we had a wick that extended all the way down to the buy breaker block, which is essentially another buy zone. So now yesterday, with yesterday's scenario, this is what I was trying to explain to you guys. We have a buy setup and we have a sell setup. So the sell setup yesterday was from the sell zone over here that we identify, hence this sell down here, and then you have a buy setup down here. This is pretty much that was my message to you guys yesterday. So I hope you're starting to see these things, right? That's why I like to repeat it, so then you can be like, oh yes, that's exactly what we were looking at yesterday, and this is how things unfolded as well. So that's very important, right? So over here, essentially right now, you need to beat one of the zones, right? You need to beat one of the zones over here. Now this is, we're looking at the daily, right? We're looking at the daily over here. So the first short confirmation on a lower time frame for Solana was very high up over here, right? On a 15-minute time frame, the $200 rejection. So like we said earlier, the 200 zone is going to be the one that we need to beat for Solana to give us more confirmation. Now let's open here the 4-hour strategy. So the 4-hour strategy, it is showing that it's not that strong as of yet. So it's not providing providing extreme strength. So let's have a look how this is going to unfold today. Let's have a look at ETH. By the way, we didn't look at the 4-hour for ETH. Same thing, is showing a lower target today. So this might be, you know, this might be either invalidated, although the invalidation is quite high. But how can we see that, right? We can see that if we start developing fractal candles over here, which is pretty much what we're on the way of doing right now, because this candle is printing bearish. So if we have a little bit of a more retrace to the downside, potentially we could see here a fractal candle developing, which is going to give us signal. Now let's have a look. 4-hour time frame. So okay, it's good to see that on the 4-hour time frame Bitcoin is showing a higher target. So we're just going to follow Bitcoin and what Bitcoin does. All right, moving on. ETH BTC over here, very important also to look, matches with all the alts, which are showing that they're still bearish using the 4-hour strategy. However, we've had a massive candle up here on the 4-hour, coming from this zone over here, which is going to be essentially your buy zone over here, right? Because that's going to be your order block over here, right? This little buddy over here, this little buddy. And then not only that, you also have support over here formed since November, right? This is support / resistance since November. Okay, so first it played as resistance, just like we said that we want to see a sell-off from here, and then now it should play as support. So overall, this is still looking good to me, right? This is looking good. BTC dominance, let's see what BTC dominance is doing. In fact, I haven't been looking at Bitcoin dominance for a little while. Good shout, Dottie. Let's have a look together. Yeah, okay, so essentially over here it's a very good zone of rejection right now here. I think we spoke about that last week, in fact, right? We said that Bitcoin should come up here and reject. So that was from last week, and the rejection is still happening right now from over here, 62%. I think that was the expectation for last week, to come up here and then reject. So it is playing out, right? It is playing out. The only thing that we need to see over here is this gap that's formed. Look at the gap over here, right? Okay, cool. Maybe you don't see it with that. This gap over here. Now we're still respecting that gap, right? For this to play out as a continuation bearish, you essentially need to see body closes below this gap over here. So Bitcoin dominance is still undecided, in my opinion. German 40 is on the move. Interesting. We can have a look at that. I mean, it's pretty much still in a range looking at it, right? If you look on the lower time frame, it probably looks absolutely great right now. But yeah, it's not something that I would like to trade, especially after liquidity wasn't clearly swept to me over here. It's just like playing at support down here, but this is going to be taken sooner than later. That's for the DAX over here. But yeah, it's been on the move for quite a while, actually. It's been doing quite great. But this V-shaped recovery, in my opinion, is going to be revisited at some point, and I'll be probably looking for entries. If I'm looking at the DAX, this is the TradFi, right? I'll probably be looking at entries somewhere within this area, right? So this could be we could potentially make it more refined, but I think this gap over here is going to be what's important for the DAX over here. And if we fail that gap, there is still going to be a buy opportunity, in my opinion, because this is a clear V-shaped recovery, and you can trade that clearly, because the DAX is on the move up. Let's see Nasdaq over here. That's I like to look at the futures markets. Yeah, so Nasdaq still is on the move up, you guys. Like I said, I am expecting this to continue up until like 24,600. So nothing really yet over there for me to see. Now gold is reacting from the 0.5 over here, but the reaction is not nothing strong in my opinion. I'll potentially continue to look for shorts over here, right? With this massive daily liquidity down here, gold for me is still to be shorted, right? And then I would probably position myself with a very small lot size down here at this liquidity drop, and then I'll probably have few positions stacked down here up to the daily support, right? Because that's what I like to do. And as I trade, I'll probably get rid of the worst positions, and I will increase my position size if price continues to drop to the daily support, because I would expect it to hold over there. You're welcome. You're welcome. Jantine with her tokens. Let's see. What's the ticker for that? If you give me the ticker, maybe we'll look at it, right? If you guys have any alts, by the way, that you want me to look at, we're gonna look at. As you can see, silver, same thing that we said yesterday. I was expecting for silver to hold stronger than gold, so that is pretty much what I'm seeing over here. So for silver, again, I think the buys are going to be potentially from around the 0.5 over here. Same thing that we said yesterday, nothing has changed here. GT, let's have a look at GT. Yeah, it's looking fine here on a daily time frame. For now, let's have a look on the weekly real quick. Yeah, big retracement down here for this whole year, but still very, very strong. So I kind of like the look of this, to be fair with you. I kind of like the look of this. Nice reaction down here from the weekly, bullish for value gap over here. You had the break down here. This is essentially your breaker block over here. So you have a breaker block in a combination with fair value gap, so that makes the fair value gap even more strong now, right? So very good reaction over here. We need to evaluate a little bit on a lower time frame. Respecting the daily bullish for value, the daily bearish for value gap right now, but it's important that we have support over here at $17.172. So that's support. We've had a clean breakthrough and a retest. It's looking good to me, to be fair. On a daily time frame, it's looking good. H bar? Yeah, we can look at H bar. H bar, H bar. Yeah, you know, guys, H bar was one of the coins that really annoyed me. Oh my goodness, that was like major annoyance over here because I wasn't tagged in my position with like 0.0, I don't know how many points, which was ridiculous. But anyway, we're still looking at it. Yeah, it's pretty much about to hit take profit over here. If I was tagged in that position, which I wasn't, for like nothing, pretty much for nothing. So very, very disappointing. But anyways, it just shot up and I didn't even see it. But anyways, so yeah, HBAR is looking fine. But yeah, I'd be, you know, looking to be a little bit more cautious around the 0.32427. So essentially, if I was in that trade over here, this would have been my first take profit down here, you guys, up here. right? What I've pointed it. So 0.32427. So let's see if that is going to actually match with what's happening currently with Ethereum, right? Because if Ethereum like shoots up to like 4,200 or whatever, we might and then rejects, just like we said, because we have the sell zone over there. This might be an area of a pullback over here. Now, how the pullback is going to be created and how deep is going to be, like, this is just speculations that we could never know, but it could be like 20% or even more, right? It could be even more depending on how the following months develop, right? Mr. Vane, don't forget BTC at 95k. We thought a big rejection, but I'm not quite reading that right now. CFG, let's look at CFG and then we'll go back to Bitcoin to see what Mr. Vane is trying to say over here. What is that? Do we even have perps on that? I don't see perps on that, so no. What do you think about the tokenization financial assets? And what would it be, in your opinion, some good assets to position yourself into right now? To be honest, I have no idea. Like, for me, I just look at the charts and I kind of find which chart is strong and I go with that. You know, for example, GT, right now that Jantine gave, that chart looks really, really good and it looks strong. So I need to identify which charts are strong technically for me, and then I'll enter, because I have no idea which project is going to like go crazy and like do 300%. Like, I'm not that type of research person. I only look at charts and trade. So I couldn't tell you, but you know, XRP is looking absolutely great. I am going to be very much, you know, still a person who believes that XRP is going to do really, really good. You know, and I think XRP is probably going to be the one that's going to be doing really, really good up until like the end of the year or whatever. I think it's going to be like another big surprise on XRP. Let's have a look at Zen real quick here for Joe. Yeah, I mean, not my favorite scenario to look at right now, because we have created some new lows. But oh, look at that on the weekly. On the weekly, this could probably do well. $46 potential, right? You're holding over here. So essentially, even if you get a drop down here on this coin, right, you would want for price to hold the support down here. That's on the weekly. But anyway, let's see how much that is. 34%. Totally possible, you guys. Like, absolutely totally possible for alts to pull back in the coming months, like really, really hard. But for now, we're still bullish and we need to play with that bias, right? On a daily time frame, immediate liquidity is up here at like $17, so that's not bad at all. You're seeing here one support holding quite nicely right here, so that's also a good sign. So the one thing that I'm seeing right now is a rejection here from this resistance at $10. But anyways, for me, I would like for this coin to move a little bit higher for me to get a little bit more confirmation on it. But yeah, whatever happens over here, I think you know, it's a good idea to be prepared for a pullback and like start DCAing if price drops like 7.8 or even 7, right? And then like you want this $10 to be beaten quite nicely. You want $10 to be exceeded. And if you are like super conservative, you can even wait for like $13. So there is still time, but the support is there. So this might be good actually. This might be good. But once this weekly liquidity is taken over here, I'd personally be out, because weekly liquidity like that, as soon as it's taken, price is pretty much always retracing, if you know what I mean. IMX, yes. Dottie, let's have a look. All right, so Doji has the indicators, you guys. If you don't have the indicators, I'm strongly suggesting just go down over here. Oops, what did I do? Get on the video itself, right? On the video down here, click more, and then you can get my trading indicators. They will be very helpful for you. Get on the course strategy waitlist, also very important, you guys. And make sure you join Discord. Like, this is where you can get all the information on how you can do these things, right, down here in the description box. But anyway, yes, IMX is you know, it's a bit disappointing because it did trade a little bit too deep for my liking. But however, it still has liquidity, right? Over here, the high that was created, $3.7, it's giving good vibes, right? So it needs to stay like that. Right now, the current support is holding really nice. This is what I like to see. We have broken also second support, but don't forget, we've done that before. We've done that before. Over here, we dropped down, we found support, we broke, and then we came right back down to retest, and now we're pretty much doing the same thing. So it could be a possibility that from here we might get another drop down, maybe retest the upper support or the second support, but it really looks like it's either going to break or it's either going to come back and retest down here. So it seems like a little bit of a play for me down here, to be fair. So you either going to get another generational entry down here, or you're probably going to start breaking supports on a daily. It looks nice as well. Daily is looking good also. $2.24 over here for IMX, so it's not looking bad at all. But essentially, you do want to get out of this range with strength, right? You want to get out of this range with strength, and you want to break $1, right? You want to break $1, and that is going to be looking a little bit better, because the way the chart is looking right now, it does seems like we could get another drop to retest the support, and in the worst case scenario, we might even make another low over here. But if we do that, oh my god, if honestly, like, if we come out of this range to the downside, like with like this from here, this is going to be a major buy signal for me, a major buy signal, especially if we like leave the range and then we create a fair value gap here on a daily time frame. After we sweep this liquidity over here, this is going to be a massive manipulation signal for me, to which I'm going to be looking for a distribution, and the distribution is going to be big, right? It's going to be big, but I haven't seen a clearance of that range yet. You know, I haven't seen a clearance of that range. So essentially, that would be the most ideal case scenario, Doji, over here. Hello, Flying Hamster. So yeah, that would be the ideal case scenario. If that happens, whoa, it's going to be really, really good. But yeah, if it doesn't happen, you have to play it a little bit safe, right? You have to play it a little bit safe. You have to exit the range over here first with some strength, potentially beat $1. Then that is going to be a confirmation to you. All right, you know what? This was it. The support down here is holding, and a price just wants to go up from now, right? But until we see that confirmation, you're risking another drop down to clear that range. Does that make sense? Does that, okay, so there was liquidity even on the 4-hour, you're saying? Yeah. No, IMX is looking good. It's looking good, honestly, but it looks so good, in fact, that for me, the really, really ideal case scenario is going to be like that. And also look at it, right? Also look at it, like zoom in, and then you always compare the alts that you're looking for. You always compare them with ETH, right? And what ETH is doing. So if you're looking at this coin right now, you're looking at this coin and you're seeing the first resistance that proved to be resistance, right? Proved to be resistance several times. Why? because you had price drop over here from it, tried to make a high, failed, right? Then tried again, then massively failed, right? So now we're doing another try. We're trading above whatever this mini support down here on the daily, but it is still a range, right? It is still a range. So there needs to be a manipulation move after that, you know? So you ideally want to see that happening. And if that doesn't happen, you know, you're pretty much risking that something else might happen, right? Something else might happen. Like, for example, if you're looking at ETH and you think, oh, you know what, ETH might exhaust at around whatever 4,200 or something like that. So yeah, you could make another 10-20% on this, right? Potentially now with the move up. But then once you're here, price could reject, right? Especially if ETH starts pulling back, then what are you gonna do? You know? So, but let's have a look, because this is a lot. Like, for example, if we come up and then we pull back down, we might even find support down here. But that is in a scenario where we're just like, you know, come up, retest down here, and then continue. So that's one possibility. But the ideal case scenario is if we get that range wiped to the downside, because this is going to be crazy buy signal technically, right? Crazy buy signal. Someone said Sui as well. We can look at Sui. Oh, you know, I've been adding these things to my traditional markets charts because I'm not looking at my crypto list. Oh, that's so annoying. That's so annoying. Anyway, I'll delete them after. So Sui, actually, you know what, let's move on Sui over here, and the chart that I've drawn already. Should be here, over here. Yeah, so when you look at Sui again on the weekly time frame or whatever, we said that this is pretty much over here, the resistance that we were looking at for Sui. So yeah, we can see that the resistance is pretty much holding, and then you have support down here. So see how all the alts are lining up, right, with the same bias, right, with the same thing, resistance, support, and trading in between right now. So it's trading in between, but at the same time, look how close 0.786 is. So this is still, you know, should give us some sort of a signal over here. All right, wait, so if we get another buy from here, maybe another 10-15%, and then maybe the pullback is going to happen, because 0.786, regardless of whatever the hell is happening, it will always remain a premium zone, which is going to mean that the market makers' ideal sell zone is going to be in that zone. Does that make sense? So yeah, watching closely for this over here. No, you guys are more than welcome. Last, for Diamond Eyes, we're gonna look at GTO and then we're gonna call it a day. GTO over here. Oof, immediate liquidity down here at 1.8. I don't like to see that. So probably something I would steer away from, because it has the immediate liquidity here. To the downside, double liquidity 3.6 is looking good. 3.6 on GTO. Too much of a retrace, but still hasn't created a lower price than you know, the all-time, you know, lows that we see over here. But yeah, it's looking good. It's looking good for like 5.3 eventually, potentially. But yeah, it is still trading down here, and it first needs to clean 1.8. It needs to clean 1.8, and once it cleans 1.8, it might hold. That's on a daily. We're gonna have a look on the 4-hourly as well to see if there is anything. Yeah, so lots of area of support down here. So this might work as an area of support down here. Right, looking at the 4-hour, using my indicators. You guys make sure to like the video if you haven't. And yeah, that is it for today. Let's go back to Bitcoin because Mr. Vane was trying to say something about 95K, but I wasn't sure what he's talking about. To be fair, down here, oh yeah, the 95K buy zone over here. Oh well, let's not manifest that from now, okay? Let's wait for price to develop a little bit further before we make any suggestions for that. But yeah, for today, a bullish bias for me for Bitcoin. And again, you guys, thank you so much for being here. Really appreciate you. I'm gonna go ahead and dry my hair, and I'll see you guys on Discord. Have a great one.